Hello, you're on the Cemetery Whispering channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like it, and I promise you won't fall asleep tonight.
Hanged in the woods. Hi, everyone. I want to share my story that happened to me back in the years when I just graduated from high school and was still very young. Now I am already 35 years old. I am not old yet, but I am not green either. One night after graduation, on the same night my beloved classmate Nastya and I went to the night forest to spend time alone and enjoy each other's company and warmth. We took a tent, a flashlight, called a cab, and went to the woods to be near the city, but that it was possible to have privacy and preferably not crowded. We demanded that the driver stop at the curb along the noisy highway, began to unload our things, to which the cab driver strongly wondered if we really had to go this way, to which we replied that all was correct, took our things, and went deep into the woods. Behind us was a road that was brightly lit with street lights and car noise. But soon the noise of the cars died down, and not a single light of the road was visible. It was quiet and dark in the forest, with only occasional mosquito bites. We set up the tent, built a fire, and went to sleep. A few minutes later, the fire went out, and we heard footsteps. We thought it was the coals of the fire crackling, but soon we heard somebody's breathing and distinct footsteps, and there was nothing to confuse it with. There was a small crack in the tent, and we peered through it carefully, but in the total darkness we could see nobody and nothing at all. We were shaking with horror, not making a sound, and fear ran through us to the point where we were both paralyzed. We thought it might be wild forest animals, and at first somehow calmed down, but after a while we realized at once that it could not be an animal. The sounds gradually began to disappear, and soon it became quite quiet, but we hesitated to look out for a very long time, and decided to go to sleep until dawn. We did not notice how it was morning, and the sun was shining brightly through the cracks of the tent, and it was quite hot inside. We had barely had time to climb out of the tent before we both cried out in horror. There was a half-decayed corpse hanging from a tree just above our tent, with a funeral wreath beneath its feet. We stood there and could not move, realizing what this neighborhood was all around us, and that we had spent the whole night next to it. Before we knew it, the hangman turned his head in our direction, smiled, grinned his terrible fangs, jumped down from the tree with a rope around his neck, and walked in our direction. We ran as fast as we could. We wanted to get to the trail, but we soon realized that we were completely lost. Nastya and I both had bruised body parts from our bruises and ran and had dirty torn clothes. The road in the woods led us to an abandoned cemetery, and this hanging dead man bypassed us and arrived at the place before we did, and hid behind one of the graves. Just as we were about to run, he grabbed Nastya and tried to bite her. Despite my frailty, I grabbed a huge log and I cracked the thing with all my strength, nearly killing Nastya, though she got a little too. The creature soon woke up and slowly followed us. I do not know how much time passed, but we got out at sunset to the highway. Only as it turned out, I am not the one on which we went, and another. But we did not care about this. We already felt more or less safely. We quickly caught a car, sat down, but then the dead guy got out on the roadway, trying to block our way. But to our great luck in this lane, at high speed driving, a huge loaded lorry, which in a split second smeared this creature on the road. Naturally, we told no one about it, because of course, no one would have believed us. But about this forest, we decided to check the information about this. We were very scared, and at the same time glad to be alive, when we learned that more than 100 people had gone missing in this forest. Sometimes only rare remains were found, though not deep in the forest, but by the roadside, and the reason for what happened was left unsolved, and the case was soon closed.